All right, so this is my homeschool Trello board that I'm working on. I'm brand new to Trello, brand new to homeschooling, but this is what I'm working on for my weekly schedule. I had a couple other things I was working around with that had it set differently, but I didn't like this really long like vertical scroller for the week. So I went more to a horizontal scroller so that we can go through and see everything, and I have a much less scrolling up and down on each day. The way it's set up right now is that I can go to my weekly schedule and I can see all of my curriculum list for every book. So I can actually click on something like my highlights, and I can see that we did the letter E because it's checked off, and then I can hide those or unhide those. So I can see what we've done already, and we can pick the next letter. I also have the Math with Confidence by unit. I have the Brain Quest by deck number and page number. I have Look Wow by their page numbers. I do every 2 pages because it's actually an open, it's every 2 pages that we're doing. And so it saves some checklist, some clicky stuff. Same with the US Atlas. So all that's over here, and this is like my reference for my actual curriculum. And then that way I'm able to keep the rest of this very simple. Now this is meant to be used with my family. So they click on Math with Confidence, they see the materials needed, they see the instructions. It's written specifically for my daughter Emmy, so that she's mentioned here. And you only check off due date once all activities are completed. So you check off these activities, and when you're done, you can click off the due date, and then that falls to where it needs to be. Now, when I finish, I can write in the activity that we did as well. Now if I try to copy paste this list, it'll save that activity as well. So that's why I have this second set of basically templates for my week. So I have a maintenance thing here to remind me, hey, by the way, go do your maintenance. And the go do your maintenance part is basically copy and paste all these, which would look something like this. I would go to my first one and I would hit copy list, and then I'm going to take 5 plus 7, and then I'm going to create my list, and that's going to be my next day. Then I'm going to drag this down to the end, and then I didn't like going in and changing the dates by clicking on it and then clicking on it and then clicking on it. So what I did instead is I created a button. So I just click next week, and then I can click out and it changes to 22. So I can go here, next week, here, next week, here, next week, and I can click through this very quickly, and I can change these all to what they need to be as far as the dates go, and that allows me, just a little bit of clicky, and now all these say 22, 22, 22, 22, 22, and then that is also 22, and then I would move the maintenance. Technically it would be here because that's when I need to do maintenance. But when I hit my maintenance, I'd finish all these, and then I put my maintenance back over here so that when it's time to do maintenance again, I'll know to go do that and knock those out again. Now, if for some reason I mess up, I also kept in what I'm calling my file cabinet, the templates. So I have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday template. And then after that will be all the days individually, which I'll show you in just a second, with my weekly schedule. So if I look today, I've got today's Saturday, July 6th. It keeps track of all the stuff we're doing today. I can now hit move list, and I can move it to file cabinet, and I move it to the very last position, and I hit move. And now we're ready for tomorrow. And when I go to file cabinet, and I go down to the end, I'll see July 6th is right here with all the stuff we need to do. Now it actually has a couple things that I still need to do, so I'm actually going to move this back to my weekly schedule. I'm going to move that back to position 2 where it was, and then now when I go back, it is back where it was. So we can finish the day, which basically we have 2 pages here, 2 pages here, and bedtime reading here. And so this is how I'm keeping track of this stuff. And now the idea of all this was that all this was written in such a way that whoever's viewing this, whether it be me, my wife, or my parents, we can read the materials needed, the instructions, the notes, and check off what we're doing, and that's true with everything. So Bob's books, it tells you how we're doing those. Drawing and self-directing time, it tells you what we're doing. Games and activities, it gives PE activities, art activities, music activities. I put in the Simon Says helper because if you don't play Simon Says enough, you don't know any of these things, so I added some of those in. Then for educational videos, my dad specifically said he had no idea what we could watch on YouTube that was okay, so I put a bunch of this in here so that these are pre-vetted YouTube channels, and technically I can edit these, click on it, and edit the link, and it can be a little bit easier for people to see, but I'm not really looking to do that. So and then I'll save this again, but you can actually embed a video so that you can watch it. I think you have to have only one video in there, but you can do that as well. Or no, that's not a video, that's the page. But if I did an actual video, you could watch it itself. So let me show you that with something that doesn't have a long thing. I'll just grab a random
in this video we'll have
video, and I'll copy and I will paste in here, and then you can actually do a view inside Trello. So now you've got this really cool player where you can,
in this video we'll have,
you can watch it directly in the description. So if I had a specific video we wanted to watch, we could do that too. So say if I really want to study dinosaurs this week, I could put dinosaurs in all the, maybe the science ones or something, and that would be the continuing education. For the history and geography, it talks about what we're doing there. Language arts talks about what we're doing there. Actually, I guess it doesn't talk about anything, that's just the bedtime, so I would just write in the comment of what we read before bed. And this goes piece by piece. Now when you check these off, it's going to automatically kind of give you this 2 out of 3 type thing here. So I can go and get my third check, get my full green check mark. When that full green check mark is there, or when I've completed it, because these don't have check marks, then I can click this to show that it's done, and then that's my end of day. But this is what I'm looking at, and right now it's taking about 30 to 45 minutes in the morning. Math with Confidence took about 8 to 15 minutes. Handwriting, copywriting, 8 to 15 minutes. Bob's book, 8 to 15 minutes. Drawing self-directed time, she chose to spend like 45 minutes on this, which is great. Games and activity, we actually had her do Danny Go for PE and movement, and she also did some cosmic yoga, so she did a little bit of yoga and stuff, and then she had a break for dinner. And then she wanted to watch educational videos for dinner, so she watched Science Max over lunch. And then now we're going to Grandma's house, and then tonight before bed, we can do these guys before bedtime, and it gives her a little bit of something extra that she can learn, or we can move it to the next day. So there's some really cool stuff with that we can do. Also, because we're keeping track of what we actually finish in the comments and over here, we don't actually have to move these to the next day. We can actually keep them exactly where they are, move them to the file cabinet, and it'll just keep track that we didn't get to that. And then if we need to, we can scroll down here to the next week, and we can put maybe history way up at the top because we need to do that first. But that's not something that we necessarily have to do. It's just something that we can do. So this is what I've been trying to do. I would like to find a way to automate this, basically copy these 6 boards and then move them to the right and then change the dates. But I don't know an easy way to do that other than just going up and hitting copy and doing it myself manually. And I thought I could just copy the day and change one day at a time, but it saves the notes in the comments, and it doesn't, and it saves the date, the due date. So like it caused some issues there, so I'm not trying to do that. And then whenever I finish this, I'll put it in my file cabinet with completed curriculums. I'll just drop that in there as well, and then that'll clear this out as too. Because as soon as we go through the uppercase and lowercase letters with these highlights, we don't need them anymore. We go through the Bob's books, we don't need it anymore. Math, like we can move that on and do a different curriculum, and I'm okay with, I mean, any of these really for different stuff. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'd welcome any feedback or help on stuff there. For those other people that were asking me about other boards and stuff that we're doing, I've got one for my company, another company I work with, the Balloon Guild. I'm on the board for Tampa Bay NACE, Homeschool, and then also Phone Happy. And because there's some proprietary stuff in there, I don't really want to like jump around just yet, but that's what I'm working on now and would love any feedback you guys can give.